Redditors who are married to Karens, how is it like? Not married to one, but my mom is absolutely one. I spend most of my time with her in public apologizing to people after she's walked away. The one and only time it comes in handy is when I've bought cars and had her come in during the price negotiation phase. She's knocked off thousands purely due to how unpleasant she is and how much people want her to just get the hell out of the door. Married to one. She doesn't get why people think Karens complain so much. It's annoying for her and she'd like to talk to someone about this. Divorced an abusive Karen who was convicted of domestic violence. That's a misdemeanor, folks. So she got half of everything. Totally worth it. My life before was a nightmare. Escape was priceless. Note, if you are in a similar situation, especially now what with coronavirus quarantines, and need someone to talk to, PM me. Not married to one, but my aunt is. My uncle is this soft-spoken giant. He never stands up to her in any way, except once, at their daughter's wedding. She was about to interrupt the ceremony to close a window because she was chilly. Everyone sitting close could hear her whisper, "I'm going to do it, but I don't want to be an asshole." My uncle, in a calm quiet tone, says quickly, "Why stop now?" Almost as if his filter just missed this one. I swear I could hear my dad snort to Rose back, trying to hold in laughter. Karen was not happy. My life has been a living hell. The number of times I have had to intervene to save the life of a customer service rep over nickels is insane. I've asked for divorce now just a couple weeks ago. Guess how that went over? My mom's a Karen. She is self-aware she is a Karen. My siblings and I sent her memes about it. When my stepdad divorced her last summer, we were all amazed he lasted 17 years, to be honest. None of us like going out with her, it's terrible, and my husband just straight up tells her, "No, you aren't talking to the manager when we go in a place." I'll tell you guys a story my step told us. They are farmers and own a small beef and bee farm. They have a store they go to for bee supplies. The owner called my stepdad and asked him to please be the one to pick up their stuff because his staff was tired of dealing with my mom. He is the only one who went to the store for the next 5 years. Coworker of mine is married to a Karen. He tells us stories multiple days a week how she drives to 4 different grocery stores and harasses the employees because their stock is low on the specific item she wants. My ex-wife is a Karen. In every sense but name. It was always so embarrassing. She was incapable of treating anyone like a human for the most trivial of occurrences. It was hell for me. As a person that's pretty forgiving and don't seek out confrontation. So in a one-word description, it was hell. Lol p.s. She's very codependent and jumps from relationship to relationship these days. Not surprised. My mom is a Karen. She thinks the world is supposed to cater to her, serve her, and everyone else is wrong. Once we went to Carl's Jr. She ordered 4 burgers for the 4 of us. She pulls one out of the bag while the guy's getting our drinks and hides it. She complains that he forgot a burger. She pulls them out one by one and counts it in front of him. It's obviously missing because she hid it, and he's swearing up and down he put them all in the bag. I'm stunned speechless, and it happened so fast. She got a free burger and laughed as we drive off. Him just staring at her, and she opens it up to eat it on the drive home. And she ate her actual burger like the 5th one never existed. I can't even explain how she is when she's in the hospital. She treats it like a luxury stay in a hotel. Help me, please. Not married to one, but mom was a major Karen back when I was growing up. "Mom, can we just go?" was my favorite question. Then the apologetic nod as we leave the store. My sister is a Karen. Everyone feels so sorry for her husband. Everything is his fault. He is treated like a slave. She only addresses him by yelling. She constantly insults him. We have no idea why he hasn't divorced her or flipped out and attacked her. We have all told her to cool it, and her response is that he's just so stupid. I could go on and on, but my sister really is a horrible person. Not married but dated a male Karen for 8 years. He was a semi-successful business owner who was twice my age, and I was young and dumb, for a lack of a better word. The gist of our relationship was him trying to take over every part of my life. For instance, he would order for me at restaurants and would dissuade me if I wanted to try something new. If I had a problem with something, it would be brushed off, but if he had a problem, then he had to talk to a manager. Not knowing any better, I just thought he was very particular and even started copying some of his tendencies, like speaking up when I felt I wasn't getting the right service when I was out on my own. I realized who he was when we were flying back from Vegas and our luggage was heavier than when we flew in. Obviously we'd bought extra things which made up for the weight difference, so as he demanded to know an explanation from the check-in clerk as to why, if it was the same luggage, would it somehow weigh more. I innocently answered that it must have been the extra shoes and clothes. He was quiet and paid up. Later he told me to not to do that again, as he knew the reason why the luggage was heavier. He was just trying to get away with not paying. At that moment a bulb went off in my head. This man had spent $1,500 on a stripper for his friend, was making an already stressful job more stressful for the clerk in order to avoid paying $60. We broke up soon after, and I checked myself on the Karen tendencies head rubbed off on me. Not the married to one, but my mom's a Karen. Literally overreacts to everything. Whenever something doesn't go her way, you guessed, gotta speak to the manager or whoever is in charge. Sometimes really embarrassing to go out in public with her, because she'll just yell at the service workers for the smallest of things. Also, she has a bob cut. Honey saint tell why she's perfect. She makes me so happy. I taught my nephews, ages 9 and 11, about Karens last year when they stayed with us for a week after school let out. After describing trays and observing them in the wild, they asked somewhere around day 2, "Is our mom a Karen?" My reply, "You words, not mine." Apostrophe. I knew from the beginning that there would be difficulties, but I loved her and made the leap to make her my forever partner. Yes, her attitude towards certain people and things confused me at times, but by keeping an open mind and accepting her for who she was, everything has worked out well. We've been married for 10 years. We have a darling daughter, and I've even come to love my wife's kimchi fried rice. It is the absolute best. I love my wife. Edit, I didn't write that. Divorce Karen. Haven't had a need to see a manager since. I was married to a Karen. I'm sure the question on everyone's mind is, was she like that at home? The answer is abso-ducking-lutely. She was the kind of Karen who had to be absolutely perfect or I'm complaining. Restaurants, stores, anything. At home was worse. I couldn't do anything right. Any ambitions or dreams I had, I wasn't good enough to do. So why try? Ugh. So glad I divorced her. Bonus, the lawyer she hired was an idiot and wrote the paperwork up wrong. So she won't get anything from my retirement. Karen. I love my beautiful wife to the moon and back, and she is amazing and strong-willed. My mother is a Karen. If something minor inconveniences her, she blows it up into a huge done. Constantly complains, belittles me and has a slight superiority complex. My mom is a Karen. Legit, her name too. Could be the original Karen it is all based on. Don't think she knows the meme of her own name. Essentially she is such a Karen she got her name changed to Karen. And there is a lot of food sent back at restaurants. My mum is a bit of a Karen. And we're pretty much no contact now, so that should tell you everything you need to know. Whenever we'd go out to eat, it's always too cold. They don't have the brand of sparkling water she likes. Thief put ice in her drink when she didn't want it. She always has to make some kind of modification to her order, etc. The list goes on. It got to the point where, if we were out shopping and she said she needed to return something, it'd just go somewhere else, because I couldn't stand watching her be rude and argue with the staff. My parents are divorced, and I live with my dad now instead. Part of the reason I barely see my mum is because I'd have to meet her in public, go for a coffee or something, and I just can't deal with the way she behaves in these places, so I don't go. Engaged to one. She was raised as a princess by her military-raised father. However, she's super down to earth, but God forbid you work in the service industry and mess something up. She worked at IHOP during college, so it humbled her compared to her family. She just writes reviews now, good or bad, and emails corporate to complain. If something is wrong with my food, she refuses me to sit there and eat it, which I hate, but I have gotten her better about it, I believe. So maybe she is just a recovering Karen at this point. I'm not married to a Karen, but someone in my family decided to make a Karen family, and let me just say, it is freaking hell. I do not go to any social event if said Karen will be there. Keeps the peace in my family tbh. Nor do I go alone with Karen. She is a nightmare to everyone in her path. From car guards to cashiers. Even her friends. No one can be better than her or smarter than her, and she's just freaking exhausting, man. The worst part is, her kids are becoming just like her. My mom is a Karen. She literally cannot help herself but to tell other her opinion. She genuinely sees it as doing everyone a favor. It destroys her relationships with my siblings. None of my other siblings will talk to her. A few years ago we went out to eat. The restaurant served bread and butter before the meal. The butter was whipped. My mom, the former dairy farmer's daughter, insisted they bring her real butter. The waitress went back to the kitchen and came back and told her what she had was butter. How dare she? My mom, who apparently is infallible in her ability to detect butter, started acting like a complete asshole to the waitress about it. She knows what real butter tastes like. I go to this restaurant often, and my kids are there, so my first instinct was to apologize to the waitress. That was a bad idea. As soon as I did, my mom went into a rage about respecting your elders and walked out of the restaurant. To this day she still won't admit she was unkind to the waitress. She helps me try to steal the secret formula. We never get it, but it's good to try. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.